Parents may not be allowed to have favorite kids, but philosophers are definitely allowed to have favorite arguments. So which, if any, of the famous 5 ways at the beginning of Aquinas' Summa Theologiae was his favorite argument for proving that there's a God? He never really tells us, but I think there's some pretty good reason to say that his favorite argument for God's existence was the first way. One of those reasons has to do with the way that St. Thomas describes the first way when he introduces it. He calls it manifestior, a Latin word that means clearer, more obvious, more evident, or, and this is probably my favorite translation, more palpable. And it's clear from the context that he thinks it's more obvious, more evident, more palpable than the other 4 ways. So, at the very least, we can say that the first way holds a special place in Aquinas' mind, if not also in his heart. But what does it mean to say that the first way is the more obvious, or more evident, or more palpable way of proving that there's a God? It can't mean that the first way is more certain. After all, the 5 ways are supposed to be proofs that there's a God. And Aquinas thinks that a proof is an argument that leaves no room for doubt or error. So, clarity or evidence can't be about how sure we are that the premises and conclusion are true. To see what it is about, we need to take a closer look at the actual argument of the first way. In the introductory video to this series on the 5 ways, we saw that all 5 ways have the same core structure. Blank is what we call a God, but some being is a blank. Therefore, some being is what we call a God. When we fill in the blank, the first premise gives us a working definition of the word God, while the second premise tells us that there's something in the world corresponding to that definition. What does Aquinas use to fill in the blank of the argument in the first way? The answer is a first mover that is in no way moved. So, the core argument of the first way goes like this. A first mover that is in no way moved is what we call a God. But some being is a first mover that is in no way moved. Therefore, some being is what we call a God. Clear, right? Obvious? Evident? Palpable? Even if you're steeped in philosophy, those seem like bad descriptions of that argument. Because it's not at all obvious or evident or palpable what a first mover that is in no way moved either means or is. But that doesn't mean we can't make St. Thomas's meaning clear. What he means by a mover is something that causes a change. So, for example, when fire causes wood to burn, it's a mover. When light causes a stained glass window to shine with brilliant colors, it's a mover. And if a Dominican causes his audience to fall asleep with his boring philosophy lecture, he's a mover. Now, some movers are also moved. In other words, some things that cause change are also caused to change. When the fire causes the wood to burn, and the burning wood warms cold people nearby, the burning wood is both mover and moved. When light causes the stained glass window to shine, and the shining stained glass window paints the opposite wall with color, the stained glass window is both mover and moved. And if a Dominican causes his audience to fall asleep with his boring philosophy lecture, and falling asleep causes an audience member to be late for his next class, falling asleep is both mover and moved. So, when Aquinas defines a God as a first mover that is in no way moved, what he means is that a God is something that causes change, but is itself in no way caused to change. Why should we think that there actually is such a thing? Aquinas' argument is simple. It goes like this. If something is moved by something else, then there must be an unmoved mover. But something is moved by something else. Therefore, there must be an unmoved mover. Now, if you're wondering why exactly we should grant Aquinas the premise that if something is moved by something else, then there has to be an unmoved mover, you're worried about exactly the right thing. That's the premise in the first way that most people object to. But that's the topic of the next video. For now, I want to focus on the other premise, that something is moved by something else. That premise seems obvious, maybe even evident, perhaps almost palpable. Wood is changed by fire. Stained glass is changed by light. Audience members are changed by boring philosophy lectures. But Aquinas thinks that even something as evident as this can still be proved. The proof goes like this. Everything that is changed by something else, but something is changed, therefore, something is changed by something else. And this is where we hit rock bottom. This is the firm foundation we cannot doubt. For Aquinas thinks that anyone at all who really understands what it is to change and to be changed will understand that something must be changed by something else. Nothing really changes itself. At most, one part of something will change another part of something. And that brings us to the final premise. Something changes. Here, at last, we have reached what is manifestior, what is clearer, more obvious, and more evident than anything else. Here, at last, we have reached something genuinely palpable. The reality of change is something we see with our eyes, hear with our ears, and touch with our hands. It's not that this premise is more certain than its companion. We can be just as sure that everything changed is changed by something else as we are that something changes. But there's a difference. We can both think and feel the truth that something changes. We can only think the truth that everything that changes is changed by something else. As embodied beings, the truth that something changes is closer to us, nearer to us, and dearer to us, because it's part and parcel of our embodied experience. And that's the starting point for the first way, the unique foundation on which it's built. Something changes, but everything that changes is changed by something else. So something is changed by something else. But if something is changed by something else, then there must be an unmoved mover, an unchanged cause of change. So there must be an unmoved mover. And an unmoved mover is what we call a God. So something is a God. You can decide for yourself whether that's your favorite of the 5 ways. But there's one thing that's not up for discussion. Its starting point is clearly, obviously, and evidently the most palpable. For readings, podcasts, and more videos like this, go to Aquinas101.com. While you're there, be sure to sign up for one of our free video courses on Aquinas. And don't forget to like and share with your friends, because it matters what you think.